Welcome back to The Paper Fold. I'm your host, Sarah, the paper nerd, and I'm so glad to be back nerding out with you on my favorite topic, stationery. Today, I have not one but two special guests, Jocelyn and Roland Kirouac of Ümlaut Brooklyn, and it'll be pretty clear pretty quick that they're both as outrageous and just flat out fun and smart as their cards. I invited them here for a few reasons, as you'll shortly hear. First off, their range has a reputation for being naughty, but there's really not that much profanity. It's more their offbeat perspective on life that I think kind of shocks people. But they have succeeded despite not being shy about sharing their personal views in their social media. So I wanted to inquire about their path and their overall approach to navigating the public face of their brand, all the while still selling very well in red states. I'm hoping it will be helpful for makers dealing with similar issues. Also, coming off the summer shows, which I not only personally loved, but are essential to doing my job, it's truly sunk in for me that every maker is taking an individual approach to markets and selling their product. Some are back exhibiting at trade shows and craft fairs just like always. Some are only on digital platforms like Faire. Some are having reps doing some of the heavy retail lifting. Some are doing some kind of combination of all of the above, but no two are exactly the same. So I wanted to ask about Ümlauts. If you are a stationery trends reader, you know that they integrated advertising in print into their approach, which of course is going to make me very happy, but a lot of people think print is dead too. So I wanted to see what was behind that decision and how it is working for them. Finally, it's almost essential for little brands these days to have a cause-related or charitable element to them. So saving the bees or the planet or women's autonomy becomes part of the brand itself. Now, Ümlaut went in its own direction by creating a young artist grant. And once you hear about it, if you're a creative, you're going to wish you had one. It's all coming up after this, nerds. Hey nerds, I need to take a moment to acknowledge the sponsor of this podcast, Girl with Knife. If you are not familiar with this exquisite house of design that has been dropping jaws and raising eyebrows since December 2018, get with the program already. Alicia Castaldi is the one-woman force of nature behind this feminine, unapologetic, and authentic brand. And from this girl's knife springs this divine range of upscale stationery, pillows, and candles. Rarely does a tagline deliver the truth, but Girl with Knife really is your brand new BFF in paper goods, just as it promises. At its core is the humble greeting card, but in Alicia's hands, it's not so humble. Her designs have the polished, posh imagery that will make you swoon and want to jump into this little world. That's combined with copy to hit whatever feel it is you are seeking. From that core, a vibrant range of stationery and gifts have sprung. Let me tell you, Alicia just sent me a big box of her 2022 releases, and they are beyond magnificent. Right now, everything is arranged in the corner of my office like a little stationery museum exhibit for me to occasionally go over and examine. Every last element has been carefully considered, so the candles not only look divine, their scents are out of this world, while the gift wrap is printed on super thick paper for that perfect fold and the sharpest present on the gift table. It's no surprise that Alicia and Girl with Knife were the talk of the winter shows, and now that the spring award season has passed, I can safely say they were the talk of that too. The Louis Awards are known as the Academy Awards for cards, and this year Alicia won Artist of the Year after being nominated for both Artist and Writer of the Year. This is an enormous industry nod and accomplishment, and meanwhile, the Noted at Noted Awards are held each year in conjunction with that May stationery event. In years past, Alicia has won Snarkiest Card, Best Color Combo, and Best Use of Profanity, taking that last award twice, oh my. This year, Girl with Knife delivered yet again and won Snarkiest Card, Best Just Because No Occasion, and Best Color Combo. More recently, she swung by my other podcast, podcast, the Paper Planes Cocktail Hour, presented by New York Now, to chat with Amy and I about her approach, inspirations, and where she wants to take her breathtaking brand. Alicia only makes it look easy, however. She genuinely pours her heart, soul, and passion into every last release, and it really shows. So whether you work in the biz like me or are just looking for that perfect Carter art print, head on over to girlwithknife, all spelled out, .com and get your shop started. I guarantee your stationery and you will slay. So I have Jocelyn and Roland of Ümlaut Brooklyn in the paper fold. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hi there.
How are you?
Good. It's so good to see you guys.
Yeah.
So it's been really interesting for me to see makers grappling with how much of their personal views to share with their followers on topics like guns or abortion. For you two, however, that's never really been an issue. Whether it is profanity in your range, which you actually don't have a lot of, but you have the reputation for having.
For some reason, the first thing people think of.
It's profanity when they see you.
Yeah.
Or, memes on your Instagram showing quotes from founding fathers on separation of church and state, for example, like shrinking violets, you're not. You've always shared your personal views, with your audience, and it's part of your brand. And, I very much personally respect this. But my question is, have you gotten any blowback on this, and how have you responded?
No, we haven't gotten any blowback.
Zero.
Zero. So there we go. Next question.
No. Seriously?
Yeah. No, the interesting thing is, I suppose there have been like one or two trolls who have popped up on Instagram. I think everybody gets a little bit,
Sure.
But no. We've never had a customer contact us to say that they were upset about something that we posted. If there is somebody who didn't like our personal politics and decided that meant they weren't going to order from us, well, we don't know. We just have no idea. We've never gotten into an argument about anything. I think that if you enjoy our line, you're probably going to understand our politics. It will be a given.
I love it. I had Brittany O'Brien of Brittany Page on, and she said she gets the occasional trolls, and she was thinking about doing TikToks of reading the messages, which I think is a brilliant idea. So
sure.
Like Jimmy Kimmel's celebrities reading their nasty tweets.
Right, exactly.
Right. Own it. Yeah. I'm starting to see it a little bit, even on like Twitter, maybe some of the more political writers I follow and stuff. They'll be like, look at this note. And then everybody just sort of laughs at it. Right. And it is a way of kind of diffusing it and owning it. But that's nice that you guys, that's not really an issue for you. I mean, you guys do a lot of markets. I mean, you've never, maybe it's where you do your markets. In my neighborhood, you would definitely at least get a couple dirty looks.
Oh, you think so?
I do.
Well, you know what? Honestly, everybody is entitled to their political beliefs.
Absolutely.
We own our own company. To think that we would separate our politics from our company is laughable. It is, because the company is who we are.
Yeah.
So
right. Right.
Yeah.
And as a maker, most people so closely identify with their range that, that's your personality is going to be infused with your range. Right. I do think that has changed. I do think that at one point it was enough to come out with a range and say, look, I love watercoloring flowers. So, this is a range of watercolored flowers. It speaks to me, but now it seems like, most ranges go a little deeper than that. We'll have the watercolored flowers, but you'll also be trying to save the oceans or cut down on single-use plastic, or, you name it.
I respect that. Yeah, I respect that. I feel like, again, when you run your own company, it's entirely up to you to how much or how little you want to bring your personal politics into things. And I think that when you're talking about creative people, you can't separate your personal politics from your creativity. Why would you want to?
Right. It's a beautiful thing in that we are all, this is such an entrepreneurial community.
Mm-hmm.
And, the, I don't know, it's just, you don't really have that opportunity in everything you do. So I love seeing people take advantage of it. I love getting to know makers in different ways. I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm just a very nosy person. So the more people reveal, the more people.
All your secrets.
Yeah.
I know I am nosy. I'm going to admit it. But the more people reveal, like I find it so interesting. I feel like it adds depth to their work. I think it just makes them more accessible. And also, I mean, I know most of the brands I interact with on Instagram, but for people who don't, you are getting acquainted with them in a different way. And you're, it's very cool. I love it. And you guys have such an dynamic voice out there, definitely one of a kind, that it just makes it all a rich tapestry, doesn't it?
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
It really does, because I think that my theory about, for instance, in a company's Instagram feed, coming from a advertising and marketing background, when we marketed a brand and all of the ideas and theory behind the brand itself, which a lot of the time can be complete BS, to be clear.
Yes.
Everything wants to be a lifestyle brand, but for us, we sort of took the idea that if we were going to be putting things on Instagram, it wasn't just an endless stream of here's my thing, you should buy it. Here's my thing, you should buy it. It's here's what makes us laugh. Here's what makes us think. Here's what makes us feel like something's happening. Here's the stuff that outrages us. We think maybe it will outrage you too.
I mean, I love it. It not only does it freshen your feed, it keeps it very topical. If you're posting it, you're thinking about this as you come up with your range, and then it speaks to people's messaging need. It all sort of feeds off each other. But you guys do such a seamless approach to it, I think. You make it look easy. It looks easy from my phone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But
You're welcome.
Our creative work and like our designs, we've never been overtly political
with our design.
No.
We decided at the very beginning of of Trump that we were never going to put Trump on a card. There's lots of people who can do that. That's absolutely fine. I will post cartoons about it, but that's not what we want to be putting physically into them.
And I mean, our thing is humor, and humor is universal, and it just, I guess, depends what type of humor you have.
Sure, but a lot of it a lot of it can really
absolutely, because we sell a lot in red states. Which is kind of surprises us.
Well, it makes us really happy, honestly, because what it confirms again is that humor really is universal.
Yeah, it is. I mean, absolutely. And your humor is very specific. Like, not everybody is going to get it, but if you like it and it speaks to you, it speaks to me. It's just the funny, the most hysterical thing that you had. I'm glad you decided not to put like the physicality of Trump or even reference it on your cards. I can see like you have such beautiful backgrounds of these beautiful vintage textiles. Like it's hard to imagine.
Yeah, you want to take something like that and put Trump's face on it?
Right. It's obvious that you assembled them with so much care and love. Like it just seems like you would sort of be undermining yourself. So, but that's good to know that people laugh, and that maybe in areas of the country where it would appear from reading the newspaper that people don't have much of a sense of humor, they do. Good to know.
They do.
They do. Just not about politics.
Right.
Right. It's about getting old and fat and
right.
And slowly dying
things and
losing your glasses. But when you were saying, do we get blowback? What we get more than anything else is people just saying, "Hell yeah, thank you, totally agree." So yeah.
Well, there is something about the air of your cards. It's sort of like an F it all. Like, I'm just going to say it because I'm going to say it. Like, I have nothing to lose. Like, that's a very common feeling right now, I think. Sure. Like it hones in with where a lot of people are sort of at.
Yeah,
with a lot of stuff.
And I mean, us, we've never really been wallflowers, right?
No. Never. I would never accuse you of that.
When my son was little, he said to me, "Yeah, Mommy, don't you think it would be interesting if people had thought bubbles that you could read like in cartoons?" And I said, "Oh, absolutely not. If I had a thought bubble, nobody would like me anymore."
There was a wonderful, I grew up reading all of my older brother's old Mad magazines, and there used to be like a department where it would show someone's face and they would be holding a mask, and it would be like what their public mask is saying, like, "Oh, it's so lovely to see you, and what a lovely tea." And then you would see their real face with a thought bubble, and it would be like, "This girdle's killing me," or whatever. And I love that. I feel like I got all my humor from Mad magazine.
Oh my God, snappy answers to stupid questions.
Oh my God, I love those.
Absolute favorite. Yeah, they're the best.
Oh my gosh, I'm not a bit surprised that you guys know that. Most people, if you say that, are like, "What are you talking about?"
No, snappy answers to stupid. I even remember one guy coming through the front door. And he's absolutely drenched from head to toe. And the person asks, "Is it raining out?" He says, "No, I just hitched a ride home in a water truck."
Yeah.
No, I just excessively sweat.
Yeah. Shower in my clothes. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, they're the best. My favorite is two people standing at a lectern at a restaurant, and the person goes, "Table for two," and one of the answers is, "No, one. She will sit on my shoulders." and another answer is like, "No, 200. The tour bus just pulled up." Like they're just the best. And I think as a writer, like polishing your training yourself to think like that growing up, like it definitely lends itself to writing greeting cards for a living.
People ask you a ridiculous question in real life. Don't you hear that stuff in your head while they're asking you? And you're like, "I'm not going to say it, but it's right there." And I'm glad I don't have a thought bubble.
Yeah.
So your cards are your thought bubbles.
They really are. And there are other people's thought bubbles. We get notes from customers all the time saying, "Thank you for helping me say what I didn't think I could actually say out loud."
That's wonderful. What a wonderful service you provide for people.
Helping you say it like it is.
Yeah, one of our best sellers is the two women talking, and the one woman says, "Well, fuck anybody that doesn't like you," and the other woman says, "Well, that's a lot of sex."
They're the best. They're the best. Nerds, So I have been hearing that Kitty Meow Boutique name a lot lately, so I'm guessing that many of my listeners are already familiar with not just the dazzling wares from this Chicagoland house of paper, but also its amazing founder, a force of nature also known as Catherine Hildner. If you work in stationery, you would have to be living under a rock not to have heard about Catherine's dynamic slew of educational resources to grow your product-based business. Every time I go to her site or Instagram feed, it seems like she is up to something new. For example, Catherine just helped throw the ultimate product party in Scottsdale, Arizona this past spring, and that event was such a success. They're already planning next year's. But now I want to backtrack to the brilliant brand that started it all, Kitty Meow Boutique. This collection of beautifully designed paper goods are fun, fierce, and designed to make women feel confident, empowered, and courageous. And I gotta tell you, this intoxicating range is the closest thing to bottling those powerful qualities in stationery form. All of a sudden, being your best, most impressive self seems easy and feels even natural. Now, I look at work from stationery makers day in and day out, and offerings from Kitty Meow don't just have the great messaging that we want to put out there to those we love via snail mail. It also has the sophisticated look of your favorite couture. But rather than just telling you this, I'm going to try and show you. So, one of Kitty Meow's current bestsellers reads on front, "So grateful for your crazy ass, happy birthday." Now, that's one brilliant birthday message for your bestie. It's succinct, it's clever, it's funny, but it's laid out with just the perfect blend of refined typefaces and accented with chic paint strokes in blush and black. Oh, and did I mention the black envelope? Girl, the card is just as hot as you and your friend, and Catherine's just getting started. So it's really not much of a surprise that Kitty Meow Boutique can now be found in over 1,000 locations worldwide. That is a huge accomplishment for a smaller brand. Understand that when Catherine started her range in June of 2018, her goal was originally to be in 100 stores. Also in 2022, Catherine was not just a stationery trends designer to watch, but also a 40 under 40 recipient. All of this underscores that Kitty Meow Boutique is so much more than just another pretty face in the marketplace, and greeting cards are just the beginning. There's coasters, cocktail napkins, gift wrap, notebooks, notepads, pens, pencils, and pins. Every last empowering SKU makes you not just feel seen, but good about yourself as well. Everything is essentially a little lift, visually and emotionally, not just for those you love, but you too. Meanwhile, Catherine is getting ready to release a whole slew of cards this summer, and I, for one, cannot wait. If you are in the trade, everything will be up in her Faire shop. You can visit kittymeowboutique.faire.com and start filling those shelves. Or just bounce on over to kittymeowboutique.com to get your most meaningful shop started. My next question, I'm just coming off the summer markets, and we had Faire, they're not just summer markets anymore. It's not just you go to visit different cities. I happen to go to Vegas and New York, but there was also several online markets, and it seems like every maker is taking their own approach to how they're going to meet their customers, where they're going to meet their customers, how they're going to sell. Some makers are back on the circuit and writing orders like they never left. Others taking a step back in favor of digital platforms like Faire. I mean, there's a million reasons for this. Some of them are health reasons. Some people are still not comfortable back at market. I totally respect that. And Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors with very good reason. So,
Right.
So you're definitely in the latter group. You've decided to take some of the money you spend at shows. You have a great presence on Faire, and instead spend it on advertising. I want to hear about, your approach, what you've taken, how you decided on it, and how it's working for you guys so far.
I think we'd like to start this off by saying, we do miss the shows. We love being there, meeting, talking to our customers, meeting new customers, getting to connect with our friends who run different brands. But obviously, from 2020 to 2022, that was just an absolute no-go, especially for people who were living in New York City, which was ground central for the world. Our concept of the idea of mixing with anybody who we didn't know exactly where they'd been was like absolute hard stop. Hell no, not going to do it. So we felt like we definitely wanted to find some different ways to be able to reach people. So we started with advertising. And it's been fascinating just to sort of try some different things, because one of the things that I've said to people about COVID is we've found some different ways of doing things that we would never have found if we hadn't been forced to try something different.
That's so interesting. I just was listening to Chandra Greer talk in a different format, and she was saying, because she closed her physical store, and
Right.
she was like, I never would have realized I can run my business as an online business if it wasn't for COVID.
Right.
So,
So that's the unexpected silver lining of all of
this. Yes. I love it.
Yeah. So you can't ignore something like that. I think that there are people who want to ignore that and just rush back to the before times. And I don't think you can do that, because I think things have changed permanently, and we still don't know how it's going to settle.
Totally. The dust is still settling. Everyone, I mean, the sense I get is that everyone's just taking their own approach, and, they're finding what works for them, and they'll modify it as necessary as things evolve. I tend to agree. There's definitely a lot of people who were just dying to get back to how we did things. And it does seem like that is changing, but it's hard to have any sort of perspective on the direction while we're in the midst of it. So,
right. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But, something to keep in mind, and this was always sort of a real adage for me when I was working in advertising, is just because everybody else is doing something doesn't mean that it's the right or the only way to get it done. And I think that for a long, long time, if you think about it, the trade show model, how old is that? How many hundreds of years?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I mean, how long have people been going to markets?
Right, exactly. So the idea that that same model is the default for the world that we live in now is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. In some ways, it can be very, very effective. In other ways, it is not.
I agree. I mean, we're such a relationship driven business. There's a definite benefit to just having FaceTime with your wholesale clients and kind of catching up. And sometimes you get the feedback on your product that they might not give you in an email, with a purchase order, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, it can be dangerous. You can come home sick. You can, it could literally, a few days in New York could change your life forever and your family's life. So, these are very important things to consider.
Oh, completely, and then we also, we had to sit down and take a really hard look at the ROI for the show, even the last few shows before COVID. And it wasn't great. It was right. Now, so the other thing too is, the effectiveness of market is going to vary wildly depending on what product you have. So for like for selling candles, how do you sell a candle online? Nobody knows what it smells like.
It's hard. And it's even hard to do. I would even argue it's hard to do paper because you can't tell the size and how good the paper is. And it's hard. For your clients, they're acquainted with a lot of your clients are acquainted with your product. They kind of know what they're getting. But if you were right out of the gate.
Oh, absolutely. I was just going to say, people who are just starting out, I think it's tough without market, because when we first launched, we went really hard and really big. We did the station.
We did
New York Now. We had our own booth. It was a titanic amount of work. We do not miss. We do not miss being utterly decimated before the show even started,
Oh yeah, I could totally picture your old booths. I mean, it was always a party. It was always mobbed
Oh, you know
from
those
like
beautiful
beginning.
backdrops.
Yeah, it was like there was always like 10, there was always like a few hangers on,
Yeah,
and it was always like a real party atmosphere.
so
Like
much fun.
I don't know if you guys were drinking,
Nope.
maybe.
No,
No,
actually, no.
Just
oddly enough, no.
No, we're just lots of fun. We're
you're
just
just fun. It had that atmosphere though. Like it had that feeling.
right. It
Like
felt like a
and
cocktail party, but there were no
it did.
cocktails.
It
Yeah,
did. It
yeah.
did. And you know at markets, like when people are walking, like people are such lemmings, like they
Oh,
see
sure.
that and they're like, I gotta get in there. Like,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
going on in there?
Right, right.
And your booth was it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It
Well,
was. You're welcome.
I
It's
think
true.
if we hadn't done that, and I know Roland agrees completely, if we hadn't done that for like the first 5 years, we wouldn't be in the position that we are now to be able to
Right.
step back and say, now we're going to advertise in stationary trends, which has been wonderful.
Well, thank you. I mean, obviously as editor in chief, we appreciate the support, you know, and
Right.
I think it's wonderful. I get excited whenever I see a smaller brand. I think it's a great way
Mhm.
to get in front of our readers. And honestly, you know, people are all over, the readers are all over the place in terms of where they're going as well. In all our surveys, I mean, some people are back in market, some people
Yeah,
aren't back in market, some
right.
people are on Faire 100%, some people are, you know, I haven't gone on Bulletin. I'm hearing a lot of noise about it, obviously, with the acquisition
Right.
by New York Now.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not even going to be the only really polished kid on the block. Juniper Market also, you know, IMC has put a lot of resources into that as well. So
Sure.
it's interesting how it's going to play out. So I guess I'm curious, like, what would it take for you guys to come back to market? And this is selfishly partially selfish because I want to hang out with you
Uh,
guys.
uh, uh, will you buy us a couple of drinks?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll even wait in the Starbucks line for you.
Yeah, we do miss the camaraderie
Yeah,
of it,
absolutely.
but we
Yeah.
we don't miss the grueling work
Right.
of
Yeah.
having set up, especially when you have your own whole booth.
Yeah.
Right. It's your little store for
Yeah.
That
market.
I don't feel that we could or would do again.
No, that we wouldn't do, because actually the last couple of New York Nows we did, we were with our rep group for this territory,
Yeah.
right? So we just had a section of their massive thing,
Right.
which was so much easier
Yeah.
for us, and we still got to do the whole meet and greet and schmooze and et cetera, without the massive amount of work.
Right.
Right. That goes into it. I'm starting to see some shows adopt that model of more just show up and put up your work. Your shelves are there. It's painted. It
Right.
does seem like some are trying to move towards that model. Some people love it. Some people are still married to the idea of like putting up their own, you know, just
Yeah.
assembling their own booth
All
every
of their own
market,
thing.
just the way they've always done it. You
Right.
know, so
Well,
uh
for us, unfortunately, the rep group that we used to show with at New York Now is no longer. So that
I'm sorry.
was a COVID statistic. So, you know, currently there really is no really affordable and physically viable way for us to do the show right now.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, look, that makes sense. And I
yeah.
mean, hopefully that'll change. Hopefully market conditions will change. I mean,
Right,
who
right.
would have thought we would be sitting here having this discussion
Yeah,
in 2020? So,
yeah,
you know, we could
exactly.
end up anywhere.
Yeah, you know, and again, our big point is COVID is still not over. So
Right.
nothing has settled and nothing is done. It's not like the world has managed to get it under control, and 5 years later we're still like, I don't know if I want to go back. You know,
Right. No,
we're
Yeah.
still we're keeping an eye on everything.
Yeah.
We think that the online shows honestly are phenomenal. We love them.
I mean, I hear people had phenomenal fairs,
It
you
was
know,
wonderful.
It was
Uh,
astounding.
Yeah, it really was.
that's great. And yeah, so you know, people are definitely getting through. Like I said, selfishly, I want you to come back, but you're running a business. You have to do what works for you so that you can, keep running your business.
Well,
Exactly.
if we had a big rep group for this particular territory,
Mhm.
this New
Right.
this area, New York, New Jersey,
We'd
whatever,
be back.
we'd be back.
We'd be
We'd
there.
be there.
We'd be there. The other part of our business though that I really want to plug that we haven't brought
Sure.
up, that is one of our absolute secret weapons, are our road reps, who we
Woohoo!
adore. They are, people forget about this. They're like,
I know.
brand,
I know.
brand, and your website and your fair site and your show booth. Well, our road reps are extraordinarily talented, smart people.
I mean, I love it. I mean, pre-COVID, people really thought, or I'm sorry, just before COVID,
Yeah,
people really thought road reps were
we're going away.
disappearing by the wayside. And like
Absolutely not.
these are individuals who love their range, love the ranges they rep, are
Yeah.
so committed to them,
Yes.
love their retailers, and go visit them. They're like a trade show on wheels,
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And no retailer, I still think very few retailers left on their own, and I can say this as a former buyer, will write as successful an order, meaning that will move as quickly as possible. They won't write that on their own better than they could do it with a really talented road rep.
Right.
Go in, they are merchandisers, they are professional merchandisers, they can look at your store, they understand what you are, who you are, what's selling, what's not. They're not just there to push their stuff on you.
Right. No,
you know
they they approach your business. They approach each store as its own entity, and they want the retailer to succeed, and they want to give them, they don't want to just sell merchandise.
Right.
They want to give them the merchandise that is going to succeed, and hopefully they'll come back and write more. And when they bring on a new line, bless you. When they bring on a new line, they'll want the store will want to hear all about it because they've had such
Exactly.
great experience, and the rep has conducted themselves with integrity,
Right.
which is
Right.
wonderful. I mean, there are a lot. I mean, it's a cool line of work. Like, how fun would it be to just like be on the road with your cards hitting stores?
Yeah, going into all these groovy stores and meeting interesting people. And so another thing that
We love our reps. Sorry, and we've
Yeah.
got a handful of reps that
If you want to show,
from day one.
Yeah.
okay, if you want to shout them out, let's do it. Who
Yeah.
are they?
Who
You
is
can name them. Do you want to name names?
Well, we have been with the Mary Hatter group forever. We adore them.
Awesome.
They are phenomenal.
Yep.
One of our newer groups is Lena B.
Okay.
They're the sort of people that you start working with them and you're like, haven't we already always been together? They're wonderful. We have individual reps like Mindy Kay and Laura Vetter.
And we've got like Wes Loker that's been with us for like literally since day one.
Right.
Wow.
Brian Roberts, Michaeline Cadlow.
Yeah. We love these people, and so we all worked really closely together during COVID. We wanted to support them as much as we could.
Sure.
We felt really strongly that Faire could be a phenomenal tool for them. And it has worked. And even those of them who are really apprehensive about it and were worried that it was going to take their business have seen that for some of them during COVID, half of their commissions coming in were orders coming through Faire, where they could reach out over email and work with the customers that way, and then the customers can place the order. And so that's one of the reasons too why we say clearly things have changed. And the idea that now, okay, guys, let's drop all of these COVID protocols and just go back to what we were doing before. Our answer is no. So a lot of this is really good and so much better. And
I love it. Yeah.
So our reps, I can't imagine not. Now that's the old fashioned part of the business that I could never imagine letting go.
Right. But even that's evolving. They're working on Faire. The ones that are going to survive have to figure out how to navigate the current marketplace. So I think it's great. And it's wonderful that it's really, you've formulated it into a win-win, which,
Well,
it's
we
just,
wanted to, and any of them that we didn't mention by name, we love them all.
Yeah.
all right, all right.
We've been with Candace and Co. forever.
Right. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I mean, they're your extended, they're your extended business family,
Well,
for lack of a better
here's
term.
another alternative sales methodology that we have done with the reps as well is sampling. So
Mhm.
if you take the money that you would have spent on a trade show and you say, I'm going to
Mhm.
put some of it here, I'm going to put some of it in advertising, I'm going to put some of it in promotions, I'm going to put some of it in sampling. Why not? Why not?
People love it. I have to say,
Yeah.
at market, I noticed a lot more. I mean, like it used to be
Well,
like
it
in the
used to be
late,
so much fun.
I mean, I used to just get
Right.
deluged with stuff. Like I can't tell you the amount of times I left Javits with like carrying way too much that one
Absolutely.
person could
Yep.
hold, trying to take it on the
Absolutely.
subway home and,
Yeah.
whatever. And then everything disappeared. And now at this summer market, it,
Was it
I left with a bunch of stuff and which is
Oh,
great. Yeah, it was fun. And I was like, oh, I guess maybe this recession is not as what, it's being, if people are giving out samples, it's either, they're seeing the value of promotion again. It does set them apart.
absolutely?
So it is, that's nice. I like that. And everybody loves a little freebie.
Who
And
doesn't? Who doesn't?
yeah.
And it's a great tool for our sales reps.
And to your point about market, like I just came back from New York now and shop object. It was an amazing time. And for me, I need to be there and I need to touch stuff and see it. But I've gotten a couple troubling texts and have to test myself for COVID a couple times since I came back. It was
Yeah, yeah.
definitely there, and that's not a great experience. So
Well, do you remember being in the Javits in February 2020 going, so this flu that's started in Italy, what do you think? And
I
it
know.
was there. You know it was
I know. Well, my husband's in the closeout business and they had a container ship that was stuck in China and he kept telling me about it.
Mhm.
Oh, there's apparently this flu and I kept poo-pooing him. Oh, you're so
Oh, sure.
oh,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
so
It's
ridiculous.
true.
Like
It's
I have to make dinner. Like can we just enough
Pandemic,
enough with
come
the
on, I
flu.
gotta put the pasta on. Yeah.
I know, I have real
Right.
problems here.
Yeah.
So-
So what we are discussing for next year is
23.
Yeah.
23. Yeah, is that because we have rep groups that do show, like we're permanently in the Dallas market with our there. Mary Hadda, she's got like their own great showroom, plus
Sure.
Vegas and
Yeah.
whatnot. Lena B's got a showroom. Is that we're mulling over that we may go out to some of these shows,
The smaller,
the
like
smaller
regional.
regional shows, for a couple of days just to do some meeting and greeting and that kind
I
of.
like it. I like it. It's important to have a presence and it's important
Absolutely.
to show your face. Like I feel like if you don't show your face every once in a while, people tend to forget about you.
Yeah.
Not because you're forgettable, but just
no.
because there's so much
Right. There's so much sensory input. You got to be part of it. So yeah, I think
right.
that's
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegas is a fun show. Vegas is a fun market. You guys would love Vegas because you fly in. It's like 5 minutes to your hotel, another 5 minutes to get to market. Everything's easy. Everything's close, and it's a real polished. Everything's new, so it feels very clean. And it's beautiful. They just put so much work into it. I mean, like I really enjoyed the market, but there is something about being in a new facility where you feel less like I'm gonna catch the plague here. I don't know.
Not so COVID-y here.
Yeah.
Less COVID-y. Like,
Yeah.
watch the
It's
floor.
not very COVID-y here. I like it.
It's just I'm not getting the COVID vibe.
Yeah.
Right.
So one thing you guys were obviously doing this before COVID, I know, but one thing that I have been seeing that I love is all these different sort of community initiatives that I'm seeing makers take to sort of just nurture different aspects of our different aspects of the artistic world, I guess. For
Mhm.
example, Victoria at Paper Epiphany, she brings in artists in residence to her Portland store every
That's
month. She
wonderful.
says, I know, it's really cool. She
Yeah,
says her applications are out of the roof,
I
out of the
bet.
roof.
I
Everybody
bet.
wants to come. I want to be an artist in residence. I don't even know how to letterpress. I want to
We
go do
we
it.
wanna go be artists in residence there. That would
You
be
guys should apply. Oh my gosh, you guys would have so much fun. I can only imagine
yeah,
what you guys and Victoria would come up with.
that
Oh
would be
my.
fun. Okay, Victoria.
She swears. She swears. I'm just gonna put that out there. She doesn't care. um, so what you guys, you two have established this, which I love, the Ümlaut Brooklyn Young Artist Grant. So can you share a little bit about how it came to be and how it's played out so far?
Sure. Well, it started when, so we were looking around. We wanted to have some sort of, um, not so much like community-based initiative, something that we wanted to
Hmm.
do. We went back and forth about, was it going to be something national? Were we going to, give money to the ACLU? Were we going to? And we thought, no, we want to do something that's within our own community. And we started working with a local high school,
Hmm.
the Brooklyn High School of the Arts, which is, at the time, it was a much lesser known art school in New York. New York,
Hmm.
there's the biggies that tend to get a lot of attention and a lot of money, and this school um, is truly phenomenal. The work that they do with the kids there,
Wow.
they've placed students at the American Academy in Rome, wonderful, wonderful results. But again, because it's a smaller school, we felt like this is a great spot to start. So we know that, I don't know if people know, in New York, there's certain schools that get a designation as being like a Title I school because there's an income issue, because there are a lot of communities in New York that are lower income, and art supplies are hella expensive,
Yes,
right?
they are.
As we all know. So when you're a young kid trying to get the supplies to be able to make things, to be able to, where you're trying to find your voice and then you want to be able to do something, it's tough. So we started the scholarship. There's 4 kids every year, one from each grade, 9 through 12, who each get a big chunk of money to do whatever they want to do with it. They can use it to buy supplies. They can use it to take master classes. They can, use it to buy. I mean, one of the kids of our first year did these massive canvases. She had all these plans. She wanted to do these canvases that were like, 6 by 4, and
Hmm.
those cost a lot of money. And
Yeah, 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 yeah. And you might mess one up, you might need to start one again. And yeah, yeah.
exactly. So
And we also had kids in the dance programs
right.
that need that you got to constantly be replacing your ballet slippers or
Shoes, yes,
shoes,
yes.
and,
It's are expensive,
yeah.
It
very expensive.
is,
That's yeah. My daughter figure skates, and
so there you go.
There you go.
it's
Cost,
in a very, very expensive sport,
right,
and
right.
certain art things are the same way. And if this is your passion, I shouldn't call it
Yeah,
an art thing, but like if you're really into sculpture or you're
right,
really
Yeah.
into,
right.
you know, uh, um, equipment costs money, and feet grow, and
It does. And even aside from those costs, I think for both of us who were, the arty kid, and having somebody say from the outside, somebody who's not
Mhm.
one of your teachers, somebody who is not your parents, say, you could actually make a living doing this. That is huge. That
And
is,
the validation,
Yeah.
yes.
yeah, of like, hey, I see what you're doing, and it's really, really good,
Yeah. So we
and
want
I
to
don't have
support
any,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Aw,
that's, so unfortunately during COVID, things got put on hold
of
because,
course, because
nobody,
of the plague.
because of the plague. But we are going to be speaking. We're going to be speaking with the school. I guess everybody's going back in about a week. So we're going to talk
Right.
to them about, if they feel like they want to bring the program back there, and then take it from there. So we'll either be working with them or we'll be looking for another smaller school. But we really like the idea of, excuse me, working with the high school kids.
I think it's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you're developing your skills, and it's when you can also, there's a lot of temptation and you can make bad decisions and kind of get on the wrong path. So if you're kind of keeping, fueling people's passions, like,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. My own son is getting ready to go to college and start
Yay.
and watching, I was there yesterday and watching all of the kids moving in. It's thrilling to see them going into the atmosphere and that they chose, where they want to be, where they want to do, where they want to develop, where they want to start their careers. I think it's just phenomenal. So, and unless somebody says to you when you're in high school, it's not like, oh yeah, be an artist, you'll never make any money, you'll be living in your parents' basement. No, you won't.
That's really exciting. Well, okay. Well, first of all, Mazel Tov for getting your son to college. Like, that is a major accomplishment, and good for him. And if he's in a place where he's going to thrive and that he wants to be, like,
Exactly.
the sky's the limit.
Exactly.
I mean, I always say, as a creative, as a writer, we're always looking for our next Medici family, to sustain us. And so you guys made yourself Medicis, and I love it.
Never thought of it that
Yeah,
way.
I like that.
Yeah.
You guys are. I mean, you're nurturing the next generation. I mean, like, who knows where,
Right.
I don't want to call him a child, where this young person is going to take,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're thrilled and we're happy if anything that we're doing for them is making them feel like, hey, these people believe I could actually do it, then because we do. We really honestly
We really,
do.
really do. And when the day comes that, we're not doing this anymore, we want to retire or call it a day or whatnot, there needs to be a whole new group of people coming up to make really dirty greeting cards.
They need to carry the torch.
Very sassy. They need to be very sassy and they need to make fun of everybody.
Yeah.
Because,
because absolutely nothing is sacred. You can make fun of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are equal opportunity offenders.
Yes.
So,
but in a loving, caring sort of way.
in the kindest, most nurturing kind of way.
We're nurturing. That's what we are.
That's us. You need a little TLC.
Yeah. So,
visit Ümlaut Brooklyn.
When I say fuck you, I mean it like in the most positive and loving way.
I'm telling you to fuck off, but with love. That needs to be one of your cards. So actually, that really brings me to our last question excellently. So thematically, are your cards getting even more outrageous than before? Like, what has the last 2 years done to your range? Like, where are you guys at? Is there any sort of sneak peek that you can give us of what you're working on that won't get me in trouble with the FCC?
Yeah, no. Well, so is it more outrageous? I guess I'd like to hope that it is. I think that, here's the thing.
There are a couple on the back burner that you gotta wonder. Oh, geez,
should we?
Can we get away with this?
Yeah,
and then we realized, yes, of course we can get away with it.
Yes, we can, and so we will. We never run out of ideas. We just don't. We never run out of ideas. So yes, there's a lot coming. One of the great things about using our design work as therapy is that we end up with some of our best designs. When you have a day and you just sit down and there it goes.
I'm feeling better after having created this.
Well, that one of our cards, supply chain. That was just a little design therapy for me after I'd spent a day like trying to find solos, trying to find envelopes, trying to do something else. And I was just so fed up. I just did that design. We'd already.
What does it say? What does it say? It's funny.
Here, I'm gonna just.
It's right behind you. That's so handy.
Right behind me. I seem to be having a supply chain issue with my tolerance for this crap. So
it's great.
That's me. And I posted that on Instagram just as under doing a little design therapy. And we got so many people saying, oh my God, where can I get it? Where can I get it? That we just sort of released it as an extra card. So
That's awesome.
There will always be some of those.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the topical
yeah.
always makes for great cards. And I mean, you guys have always you've always been a bit outrageous. And, now that we're in outrageous times,
Right.
like we need outrageous cards. I mean, like outrageous times call for outrageous cards.
What you looking for?
I'm looking for homeschool. Here we
96.
go.
Homeschool.
There's another one.
Okay. I don't know why I can't read it to me. It's blurry. My video's blurry. I'm sorry.
It takes a village to raise a child, but it takes a distillery to homeschool one.
Oh my God. Yes.
And,
yes.
So we thought, okay, and we did this in 2020 and it sold like crazy 2021. We were thinking we were going to be discontinuing it once kids got back to school, and it's still selling like crazy. So I guess there's still a lot of people homeschooling out there. So this one is for you.
And it seems like it's going swimmingly. And
exactly. But yeah, so I think there's more of the same. There's we're testing some ideas of we want to, everything that we make is domestically produced. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of another thing about supply chain that we saw through all of this is there's absolutely no way we're going to go into any kind of a product that we will have to source components of overseas. Mm-hmm. So going forward, we're looking at paper, and more paper. Our journals sell really, really well. Mm-hmm. So we're testing some mini journals, some smaller.
Nice. I love those small journals. I mean, I use them myself, and I've always used them myself. But I just think it's such a I don't know. It's such a great market for makers to kind of expand their vibe onto this product.
Yeah, right, so they wouldn't be journals, mini journals, notebooks. Basically, it's a notebook it's basically the same size as an A2 greeting card.
Yeah,
very cute. Very cute.
Nice size to hold in your hand. There's a charm to smaller things.
Oh gosh, yes. Are they YRO or are they like perfect bound?
We're testing both to see which one we like best.
Because you do have some YRO.
We do YROs because we want them to be. I like lay flat journals. I like to be.
I know a lot of people really are drawn to that. Yes, and there's something retro about YRO. That I really like. And if you're a lefty, you can do it backwards, which is what I do.
Exactly, and you can use the whole page. I hate to snap the spine on something. Just kind of breaks my heart, because
I know
that's a book ever. So
it's probably 95% that we're going to go with the spiral bound for the notebooks.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's cool. I can't wait to see them.
We'll send you some as soon as we get the test. We got a little bogged down because of some other issues. But we'll be getting them tested pretty soon.
Okay, great. Well, it was such a treat to get some FaceTime with you guys and visit with you and find out what you've been up to. I can't thank you enough for coming by.
Oh, thank you.
It's always just so much fun getting to sit and talk with you.
Yeah,
I wish we could do it more often.
I know.
You're so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I had you guys just on just so you would say that.
Yeah.
But you know what, Sarah? I mean, you do so much for the community of makers, and I hope you know how much everybody loves and appreciates what you do. And you're fun. It's so much fun to hang out with you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, I get very lonely without makers to hang out with. So you guys are fulfilling an important need on this end as well. So thank you guys again.
Okay,
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn and Roland, for coming on The Paperfold. It is always such a treat to catch up, especially since I have not seen them in real life since August 2021. Yes, I keep track because when I see someone I haven't seen in a while, I'd like to tell them exactly how long it's been and how much I've missed seeing them since then. So finally, thank you for listening. Again, our theme music is by the wonderful Sharon Glassman of Smile Songs. See and hear more at smilesongs.com. If you like what you were hearing, please give me a 5-star rating. And if you feel like waxing eloquent, please feel free to leave a review too. Thank you so much, nerds. Stay safe out there.